So good afternoon. My name is Dhruv Gupta, and I'm going to be presenting an Android application to fetch data from an API. This project was built for my operating systems class at Georgia State University under Dr. Zixing Yan. So to give you a quick overview and an introduction, the goal of this project was to build an Android application that uses the services that are offered by the Android operating system. So for this purpose, I identified the process of doing asynchronous request uh, using the Android operating system services to hit an API which has information about faculty members being available in their office or not. The API itself was built using my graduate research project. This was completely independent addition to that project for the purpose of this project. So to give an overview of how the application works, the user will enter a faculty member's name and clicks the search button. Uh, for this, a toast message appears, which basically gives the user information that, hey, your search has been triggered. Uh, this results in a new thread being started, uh, which creates a URL with the search string, sends a asynchronous HTTPS request to the web API. The web API processes that and returns a JSON message. Then once the JSON reply is received, the JSON library is used to parse the string and create a JSON object. The JSON object then gets parsed and stored in a faculty object, and that is parsed to display the results to the user. So the operating system functionalities that were used for this, the Android.os library was used to create a multi-threaded application uh, which supports the async task. Uh, so built-in support for making HTTP GET requests that the Android operating system offers using the HTTP URL connection library. And then the OS libraries were used to read and write an input stream. The JSON library is also built into Android as well as the logging library. So the way the async task works is the async task library offers abstract class, which extends, which uses the different operating life cycles of an Android application. So in the main task, the developer has to override certain methods. Um, so over here, we can see that inside so the subclass that extends the async task overrides the do and background method, and then these tasks will then execute in parallel on the thread in the background. So an activity starts in the main thread in on create, and then in this example over here, uh, within the on create, there'll be a call to the asynchronous task library, and then it'll run that in the background. And then there's an addition to that where on post execute executes on the main thread after the first after the background thread has completed. So here's an example of the JSON response that the API gets. So it will send out a status 200 to acknowledge that there was a successful HTTP response, as well as with the information. So in this case, because the name is valid, it returns the details. Uh, so in the case where a faculty that's not in the system is searched for, the response was successful, but no data is returned. And then when the request itself is malformed, then nothing is returned. And so all of these situations have been accounted for in the Android application. So here's an example of it being run. So I'm going to search for Dr. Bourgeois, and then when the search is triggered, it returns when she was last seen. Uh, I'll do a live demo as well. So I will search for Drew. And so it reports that I was last seen at this date. And if I search for Dr. Ashok, so she wasn't seen recently, so it says not available. And so because Dr. Cow is not in the system, it says faculty not found. Uh, that's the demo. Thank you.